There was a boy who always felt less than everyone else. Social media had stolen his peace. Everyone's life looked perfect to him, and his own life felt meaningless. Slowly, he started hating himself. He watched people winning every day and started calling himself a failure. He felt like he was far behind in life. Every comparison destroyed his confidence. He smiled around people, but inside he felt completely empty. Every night he asked himself, "What's wrong with me? Why is everyone moving forward while I'm still stuck here?" These thoughts were destroying him slowly, but he had no answers. Slowly, he stopped trying, because he believed no matter what he did, he would never be good enough. Fear became his habit, and overthinking became his world. He heard people praising others and felt smaller every time. He believed that he had no value at all. His confidence was fading away, and his dreams were dying too. One day he asked himself, "Am I going to live like this forever?" That question stayed in his mind. For the first time he felt angry at himself, and that anger forced him to think deeply. Something had to change. He realized something important. Comparison had stolen his happiness. He was busy watching other people's lives instead of improving his own. That was his biggest mistake. And finally, he understood it. That day he made a decision. He would run his own race now, not someone else's. He wanted to prove himself, not to the world, but to himself. He stepped away from social media and started focusing on himself. Slowly, his mind became calmer. Now he compared less and learned more. That was the beginning of his new life. Before, he feared every challenge. Now he started accepting them. Because he finally understood, growth never comes from comfort. The fear was still there, but now he refused to stop. He started changing small habits, waking up earlier, using his phone less, and working on himself daily. It wasn't easy at all, but he truly wanted to change. Slowly, his mindset started changing. He no longer saw himself as weak. He realized something powerful. The real battle is not with the world. It's with your own mind. And he was finally learning to fight. Now he learned something new every day. Even if the progress was small, he refused to stop moving. Because he understood one truth: consistency changes people, not temporary motivation. Before, he wanted people's approval. Now he wanted self-respect. He no longer wanted to impress others. He wanted to improve himself. And that mindset made him stronger. Little by little, he realized something important. Successful people are not special. They just refuse to quit. And that's what pushes them forward. For the first time in a long while, he felt hope again. Now he spent more time alone, but not because he was sad. He wanted to understand himself better. He started writing down his goals, and for the first time, he saw direction in his life. He stopped making excuses and started taking action. Even on days he felt tired, he still kept going, because he understood something powerful. Discipline is real strength. Slowly, his confidence came back. Now he wasn't afraid of people anymore. His words started changing. His energy started changing. And most importantly, his mindset changed completely. Now he saw failure differently. Before, failure broke him. Now it taught him lessons. It showed him where to improve. And that mindset made him stronger. Every single day, there was a time when he saw himself as useless. Now that same boy was fighting for his dreams. The only thing that changed was the way he thought. Now he understood something clearly. Comparison never truly ends. There will always be someone better. But real success comes from beating your old self. And that became his focus. Now he no longer felt jealous when he saw others succeed. Instead, he felt inspired. Because someone else's victory doesn't mean your failure. Everyone has a different journey. Slowly, people started noticing him because he had changed. There was no fear in his eyes anymore, only confidence. And that confidence came from silent hard work. Before, he quit too quickly. Now he learned patience. He finally understood big results take time, and the people who stay consistent are the ones who win. He made a promise to himself. He would never ignore his dreams again. He would never run because of fear. No matter how difficult life became, he would keep trying, again and again. Now his focus had changed. He cared less about opinions and more about his future. He understood one thing clearly. People will always talk, but the life is still yours. He learned something valuable. Confidence doesn't come from talking. It comes from doing the work. When you prove things to yourself, that's when real strength appears. And he was finally feeling it. Now he stopped overthinking every night. Instead, he started planning. Planning his next move, planning his future. And that simple change made him feel alive again. He realized something painful. Life is not always fair. But giving up changes nothing. If you keep fighting, slowly things begin to change. And his life was changing too. Now he no longer felt alone, because he learned to support himself. He stopped depending on validation from random people. And that became his biggest victory. He was emotionally stronger now. Before, he feared the future. Now he was building it. He started dreaming again. But this time, he was also working for those dreams, every single day. He understood something important. Pain is not always bad. Sometimes, pain builds the strongest people. If they stop running from it and start learning from it. Now he celebrated small victories, because he understood one truth. Every big success starts with small steps, and he had no plans to stop, no matter what happened. Slowly, his life was changing, but the biggest change happened inside him. He no longer felt worthless, because he finally saw his own value, after so many years. Now he could look into the mirror without feeling ashamed. Instead, he felt proud, because he never gave up. Even when life gave him 1,000 reasons to quit, he realized something dangerous. The worst addiction is comparing yourself to others, because it destroys your happiness. And he finally escaped that trap forever. Now he focused on his own journey, because he understood something important. Everyone has a different story. You can't compare your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20. Slowly, his fear didn't disappear, but he learned to move forward anyway. And that is real courage. Not the absence of fear, but taking action despite it, again and again. Now he understood clearly, you don't need to be perfect to change your life. You just need to start. And that small beginning changed everything for him. And in the end, he learned one final truth. The moment you accept yourself, your real growth begins. Comparison destroys confidence, but self-improvement changes lives.